Because I write without having an end in mind. Like I have the beginning and I have the characters. So as I'm writing, it's almost like I'm reading the book. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't expect this to happen. Or like, oh man, like I get excited as I'm writing because it's like I'm reading it for the first time. And I always tell people when I know the ending, that's when the book's ending. Like that's what it's always what happens when I know the ending. That's when the book's ending. So everything surprised me from like some of the discoveries that the characters made, some of the relationships that were built, some of the struggles that they had, even some of the stuff in the battles that were being fought. Like it was all surprising, and I love that part about writing, and not like I when I sit down to write, that's when my brain turns on to like, okay, let's let me jump into this story now and just start creating and understanding how this is going to work. Because I'm thinking as a reader, right? Not as a writer necessarily. I'm thinking as a reader. And so I want to approach it that way. And yeah, so it's all surprising. It really is.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. It's the Author Podcast. Get to talk to great people from around the world. I just love who I get to have on my screen as we talk through their author journey. And Auri is on with us today. We're going to be talking about his journey. He's got so many books, so many books to fall in love with. We're going to talk about a children's book of his today, too, which has got a pretty cute story attached to it, which is going to be fun. So glad to have him here on the podcast and introduce you to your next favorite author, because you got a lot of great stuff here ahead of you as a reader. So welcome to the show, Auri. Nice to have you here, man.
Thanks.
It's good to have you here.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Like I've been excited for this, and so I'm ready to jump in. I really am.
All right. You don't have to threaten me with a good time. This will be good. All right. So let's start here with this. I like to kind of give a point of reference for everybody as to where you are in this big world of ours. So where do you live, Auri? Where are you?
Yeah. So I am in the U.S. and North Carolina, Charlotte area. And
Nice.
I live just outside of Charlotte in a town called Gastonia, which I was never a big fan of the name. When we found the house, we were like, oh, we're moving to something called Gastonia. That just sounds kind of yeah, interesting. But we love the area. It's an up and coming area. We're excited. The kids love it. We've got a good community here, so we're really enjoying our time here.
Tell everybody a little bit about your background as well, or you got like you have some pretty interesting things you've been doing in the past, apart from your writing. But before we jump into your writing side, tell a little bit about your background as well.
Oh yeah, well, my background is varied,
Yeah.
to say the least. So I have a background. First, out of college, I taught as an adjunct professor, teaching audio and media communications and public speaking. And loved it. Had a lot of fun with just kind of like giving students a new way of looking at different things, and storytelling kind of like played a big role in that. Of course, with audio and video and media, that's a huge aspect of it. So I did that for a couple years, and then for a year, I worked with a production company out of LA, and got to help them produce character building and motivational videos that we then went throughout the country and did motivational speaking at different schools and churches and community events, etc. And so I got to travel around the U.S. for a year driving, and it was a great experience. And so that was a lot of fun. And then wound up coming back to the East Coast and became a youth director at a church for a while, and loved that experience as well. Got to have a great impact on the kids, and the kids had a great impact on me. And then morphed through life and found myself working where I work now, which is at Capital One, which a lot of people will know the commercials of like "What's in Your Wallet" and Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson and everything. I always get that. Have not met him yet. I'm working
Have you
on
not
that.
met him yet? Yeah. Okay.
I'm working on that. I'm like, listen, if I can just meet him, like I can have a whole new career. I'll work it out somehow. But I work on a communications chief of staff team for part of the organization, and it's a lot of writing that I get to do and a lot of communications, and it kind of just again flows through like just my passion for writing. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
A lot of elements of you in your past connecting with an audience,
Yes,
helping other people connect with an audience. That seems to be your common thread through all these different roles that you've had.
definitely.
So reaching an audience and connecting with them through video, through spoken word, and now written word, that seems to be your sweet spot then.
I would have to say that, and I think that kind of flows through my writing. That's one of the things that whenever I'm writing, I think about is just like, what is my audience going to experience through this? Like, how are they going to learn something? Are they going to walk away with curiosity, excitement? Like, what's my audience going to walk away with? And so that I think that that kind of just plays a role in everything that I've done in my past and the roles that I've gotten to have an opportunity to perform.
Have you seen a difference from when you were teaching people how to do like video and audio and stuff in the past to what we're seeing today in social media and all that? Is it very different than when you were teaching back in the day?
The methods are different, but
Yeah.
the messages and I guess the desired results and goals are the same, right? Of course, social media has expanded, technology has expanded, the forms of media have expanded as well, and or shortened in that case between TikTok and Instagram Reels and everything like that.
I
But
know.
the goal is still there, and
Yeah.
so. I'll tell you that one of the things that I used to teach was whenever you are giving some sort of message or anything like that, performance sort of media, you think of like the wants and the needs and the benefits. Like, sure, someone might want to hear something, but you got also got to present like why they need to hear that. Like, why do they need to hear this information? Like, because if you want to hear it, okay, yeah, but if you need to hear it, like if you feel like you need to hear, you're gonna listen. But then why should they? What benefit does it have to listen to you, to hear your message,
But
to read your book, to watch your video, to do whatever? Like, what is the purpose of you actually presenting it? And so, I think that that is one of the things that is still a tried and true principle, no matter how media or communication has kind of transformed over the years.
one thing through podcasting, I work with podcasters and they are asking for more engagement from their audience. My question back to them is, how engaging are you? For you to want me to engage with you back in return, right? So what are some of the things that you would say with all of your background that an author can do to be more engaging with their audience, like to create that engagement loop? Any kind of suggestions on how to get, like you're doing it right now, you're on a podcast, but what else can you do to build engagement with your audience as an author?
I think one of the things is like first off, like be passionate about what you have to give, right? If you're not passionate about your book or what you've written or your story, then why should other people be passionate about it? And people can tell if you're passionate. So I think that's the first thing is having that passion and sharing it. And then being passionate about your audience. An audience can tell when you truly care about them, and I think that that always has a boomerang effect when it comes to that. So that passion will show, and even if you don't have the flashiest like advertisement or the up to date like technology to do it, like you actually having that passion and caring about what you have to say and who you have to say it to is going to drive that. And if those two things are present, then just go for it. Like, I think a lot of times we question and put up our own roadblocks to getting our story out there, right? And then there's so many different fears about like, well, what if people don't engage, or what if people don't read it, or what if people like, what if you get that one person that reads your story or hears your story and is inspired to do something that reaches millions? It's because of you, right? And so
Right.
you have to have
Yeah.
that mindset of it. It's just not about you reaching millions. You might reach millions through someone who heard your story and it truly is inspiring. And so, again, get out of your own way. Sometimes that's
Right.
the biggest thing. Have that
Yeah.
passion and get out of your own way. So those that would be a big thing for me.
Yeah. And maybe not be at the early stages. Don't be so tied to the results.
Yeah.
Just show up, right? You got to make it easy for your audience to connect with you as well. So like yesterday, for example, I have a very tiny Substack, like super tiny. And because some past guests from the show, that kind of thing, friends that I know. And so I went live on Substack. I'm like, I don't even know how to go live on Substack, but I did. I clicked the button and I'm sitting here by myself, talking to myself. There's nobody in the audience. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I sitting here talking to the camera about rambling about podcasting and whatever's going on in my day? And all of a sudden, boop, somebody popped on. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. So I've doubled my audience right like that. Just me and now one other person. So, it's the thing. You just got to put yourself out into the world. And I think as authors, a lot of authors I talk to are like head down, writing in solitude, honing their craft, but never really talking to the people who read their books. Mm-hmm. They just pump out the books, write the next one, write the next one. They never get out there and introduce themselves publicly and allow people a little behind the scenes of them as a writer. We're all curious people. Your favorite author, I'd love to just have time with them and hear them talk about their journey and connect with them in a different form than just simply reading their book. I think it just gives another level of connection. That's why I love doing this with you is I get to talk to people like you, and I find it so engaging to talk to a creative person, and I just find it, I'm just really curious about like how you got to where you are and what's next and going, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. Like, this is really exciting. And I have your book and I'm like, I get to talk. It's like meeting your favorite musician or painter or any creative person. I have your work, but now I get to connect with you. And I think any author will really benefit by giving your audience a way, some way, through podcasting, through your website, through social media, but having some way for your audience to connect with you, like the real you, not your people, but you, right? I know you have a huge team of people and everyone. Yeah, I know, right, for sure. But
my imaginary friends and I,
right, your imaginary friend, having a way for your audience to actually engage with you. There goes back to that engagement piece, right? Make it super easy for them to connect with you. So that's my encouragement from my perspective over the last few years talking to authors is you got to make it easy for people to connect with you.
So true. True. I agree.
So what are you doing then as an author? Apart from this, what else do you do then to get in front of your readers?
Just connecting with them. Like, I know a lot of the, a lot of the people that bought the book, that told me they bought the book. I like scheduled phone calls with them or scheduled Zoom meetings or said like, hey, if you have several people that have bought the book and want to talk about it, I'll do like a whole little like almost like meet the author thing. I actually have I have a work trip that I'm going up to next week, and I'm meeting with a friend of mine who bought the book, and some friends of his are going to come over to his house, and we're going to talk about the book. Like it's cool. Just connecting with that, even at work. Like I randomly mentioned it to someone that I had one Zoom meeting with, and they bought the book. And then like he's like, I need the second book. And by the way, I'm telling everybody I know about this book. Like it's just continuously being, again, passionate about your project. Like if you're passionate about it, you're going to tell people about it. Then not just tell people about it, but also like connect with them on it and let them know exactly like your thoughts and feelings about it. And so other than that, like there's other podcasts that I'm going to be like shooting for and talking to, other promotional things that I want to do where I can actually connect with. And then this is all a learning experience too. Like I want to, do some author readings and meet the author. And as I'm continuously writing more books, I want to connect with more audiences. And so it's a journey. It really is a journey. And I think there's a lot of it is enjoying that journey. There's not one race and then you're done and you've got a trophy and you're good. It truly is like a career of just having your work like showcase who you are, right? And connecting with people through it. And so I'm, this isn't my full-time job being an author, but whenever I can, I'm going to talk about my book. I'm going to talk with people. I'm going to connect with different authors and just make it a community type thing, right? So I think it's a big
yeah, and I guess some of the hesitation I hear from creative people like authors is that they don't want to come off as salesy. They don't want to be like, Sunday, 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 that kind of stuff about their book. You're like, no, you don't have to be like that. But my question back to anybody that struggles with self-promotion is, are you proud of your book?
Right.
Oh, yeah, like I spent years writing this. Is it good? I think it's really good. I'm really proud of what I did. So it's not terrible? No, it's not terrible. So there's value in what you've written, what you share? Yeah. Then why would you not share that then? Why would you not tell people about it? Well, I don't want to sound like I'm, whatever. I'm like, if it's valuable and it's going to help somebody, then you need to tell people about it. It doesn't have a chance if you don't get out there and talk about it in front of people. It's not fair to what you created to hide it.
Yeah. And I would say this, like, I've never told people to buy the book.
Yeah.
I've just told them the story behind it.
Beautiful.
I've never I let them decide, like, oh, that really is like a cool story. I want to kind of like check it out. Like I did that the other week. It was someone was like, hey, tell me about because he's big into fantasy, but like, tell me about the book and everything. So I just told him about it, and he started asking me questions about different themes and stuff like that. And then right then and there, he's like, oh, here we go. I just added it to my list here. I just bought it and added it to the list. It's I didn't have to say buy the book. It's just tell the story.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
You've written it. You should be proud of it, like you said, and just tell the story.
Right.
Speak for itself.
Awesome. We kind of hinted to the fact that To Bring You Joy, one of your many books we're going to talk about today, that you mentioned that there's there's an interesting story behind this book, and you kind of tell us, it's a children's book, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Right. Yeah. So it it happened about 2 years ago, two holidays ago, and like I said, I work for Capital One. We do a lot of communications, and at the end of the year, usually some of our big leaders want to kind of send out an end of the year message. And one of them came up to me. He's like, I don't want to just send out like a normal, like, hey, have a happy holiday type thing. Like, I want to do something different and meaningful. And I was like, well, what would be kind of cool is if we just recorded you sitting by a fireplace and, drinking some hot coffee and just tell them a story. And then she was like, that's a good idea. You give me the story and I'll do it. I was like, I'll do you one better. I'll write you one. Like a simple, like little one that's just kind of like heartwarming. And so I wrote that one and I sent it to her and I was like, this is to bring you joy. And she sent a message back saying, this like brought me to tears. Like this just reminded me of my childhood. And I love it. I'm going to do this. And she's like, and if you ever decide to like publish this somehow, like I'll spread it around for you because I think this is huge. So I was like, sure, you don't have to tell me twice. So I talked to one of my friends who does artwork, and I was like, can you just do some simple illustrations, some illustrations for it? And she got something back to me within like a few weeks, and we just put this whole little book together in the month of December. From just like December 1 all the way through, and that leader shared the message and it was like, by the way, this is a book that is for sale that you can go buy and have with your families for the holiday season. And it was just like, it was like a cool thing. Again, I'm just like why not, right? It's an opportunity to like not only be the storyteller, like a passion of mine, but also just like share a message, and why not get it published, right? Even if like those are the only sales that I got, which I've gotten to several, but like even if those are the only sales that I got, like why not have that story that could like impact, So it was kind of fun.
That's amazing.
It was fun.
Would you have written that book had you not been prompted that way?
No.
I heard to write it. No.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have, because it wouldn't have like crossed my mind specifically, but that kind of like that series of events kind of just like sparked something like that random story would not have like been in my mind unless I thought about like, okay, like what is the message that we want to give for this holiday season, and it's just like to bring you joy. And it was kind of cool, and it's it was probably never would have happened if it hadn't been for that series of events, and I'm thankful for it. But I also think like when those things come, take them, run, jump at them,
Because I could see a little mini series here, like to bring you love, to bring you joy, to bring you hope, to bring you peace,
It
right?
happened.
There could be like a little mini series going on here,
Exactly.
you
I have to
know,
get my
right?
illustrator friend and be like, listen, you got a whole bunch more to work.
I don't know. I think we might be crafting something here. You might have to write some more books,
Right,
or
right.
I
I'd be
think you
like,
might have to write some more.
listen, you have the harder part. You gotta draw. I can write the
There you go. Okay. Well, I'm signed up. I'll buy those. There you go. Good. Well, that's an interesting story. I love that. I love that it's so just an organic story too. It just, hey, you write it, we'll do it. Let's go. Like, that's amazing. That's really cool. That's good.
my little
That's good.
hallmark moment.
Yeah, yeah. Brought to you by Capital One.
Right.
There you go. There you go. Got to get the commercials in, right? Yeah, got to get them in. Yeah, good. All right. So, talk us through a little bit of your library. I'm going to call it a library because there's so many to talk about. What's the starting point for a reader? Like, where would you say a new reader should start? Most recent book, back to the beginning, and then let's start talking about the first book and what you've written. We'll kind of go through that way, just to kind of give an overview of what we're going to do, and then we have our focus for today as well. But where is a good starting point for a reader? Do you think To Bring You Joy might be a good starting point? Like, where should we send somebody new?
So that is a really good question because all of the all the sections of books there are very different. I
Yeah.
like to point people either to Myron because Myron is more of that kind of like fantasy, like a lot of people like love the adventure aspect of it. But if like my choice, if you don't go for Myron first, my choice would be the one that's called Seeking God: A Summer at Camp Quest, and it is a kind of like a coming of age, feel good, emotional story that is a true story based off of my experiences as a camp counselor for 9 summers working at a summer camp. And it's fictional in the fact that I'm not using everybody's real names and stuff like that, but it's true in the fact that all of the scenarios and experiences happened to myself or to the counselors that I got to work with, or the campers that I got to work with, and it just follows a boy who like is kind of like in this stage of just like wondering what his like life is worth, like where's his life going, and his friend, like his college friend, is like, hey, I signed up to be a camp counselor at this camp. Why don't you come join me? And he does, and it's like he goes through this whole kind of like life changing experience this summer at camp, and you get to see not only his perspective, but perspectives of some of the campers, perspectives of some of the counselors, and just hear some of the funny, hilarious, but also like heartwarming aspects to it. So I always tell people that's a good story to go through because people like I had an interview back when it was first written. Someone was like, "These are really all true stories." I was like, "Yes." He's like, "I was dying laughing at one point and like crying at the other point," and I was like, "I think that's life, right? Like life." And I wrote that one is kind of like a fictional memoir of sorts, but also to kind of like let people look at life and be like, "Hey, these little stories that happen to you at life, don't take them for granted. Learn from them. See the joy and the lessons behind them. See the tears, the happiness, all of that, and keep those close to you. Because those, like, you'll look back and you'll realize like how they truly transformed your life and brought you to the place that you are at. So yeah, I'm partial to Myron just because that's the newest one, and I'm like really
Yeah.
excited for what's coming next. But Seeking God: A Summer at Camp Quest, that's me. That's what I
Okay.
experienced. So I definitely tell people to go for that too.
Do you have in your mind kind of a common thread throughout everything you've done as far as your ideal reader, or you find your readers change as you write?
They change, they
They
change,
do. Yeah. Yeah.
and I write characters for my readers. So I don't write stories for my readers. I write the characters for my readers. The
Interesting.
stories kind of come because of like, hey, that's the idea that's come. But when I'm writing a story, I'm thinking of the characters that my readers can connect to. And so I think that's why a lot of times it'll change for the audience is because they'll connect to certain characters. And I'm not the type of person that likes to have like one main character. And I think that's why. Because I want you to be able to connect with anyone, right? So you might be reading it and connect with this person and your friend might be reading it, or your spouse or your kids might be reading it, and they connect with a totally different character, and they don't feel slighted because, oh, this one's the main character and this one is just like somewhere off there. Like, you're getting a lot of each character that you can connect to, that you can resonate with, and then you're realizing like, oh wow, there's this whole story behind them. And so that's kind of like my mindset when I'm writing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the characters and how my audience is going to be able to relate to that character. And then the story is kind of just like the cake,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
Like, there you go. You're eating the cake, but you're realizing like, oh wow, this flavor is exactly what I wanted, right? And I can connect with. So yeah.
One of the things we seem to love and when we meet people is when we uncover like the depth of their character. You're like, this person's got layers. There's things about them that are really interesting and intriguing. Something that makes you want to talk to them, right? We just love that depth of character. How do you create depth of character for your characters in your book? We want them to feel like they're real people and we can connect with them. Any tips on developing your character for a reader so that we can fall in love with them?
Yeah. I would say for majority of my characters, I'm getting to know them. So I write a biography about my characters. Like, I get to know my characters before I jump into the story with them. Like, I'm like, okay, so this is kind of like where she's coming from. This is her background. This is probably, like, it may not show up in the story, but this is probably like what she experienced in school, or this is probably what she experienced at home, or something like this, or this is probably what he had to deal with, or his thoughts behind this. So I can truly see them as a person and not just something that I'm writing on a book. Another thing that I try to stay away from is the absolutes with my characters. The guy that I was talking to last week was asking about is like, I don't have a specific good versus evil here, right? Like, the person that you like is going to have some faults and is going to have some like darkness to them, and the person that you find like is probably the evil person or the bad guy is going to have some like, oh wow, like I see some humanity there and I see some reason why I would kind of like them, because that's us. Like, we are not just, hey, all perfectly good or all completely bad. We do have in us like that struggle, and I want to show that, so that people aren't just saying like, okay, well, I can write this person off because that's the bad guy, or I can cheer for this person because that's the good guy. I want you to be able to be like, hey, this person does have layers, whether their actions speak good or bad, or whether their thoughts speak good or bad. Like, I want you to be curious enough to be like, you know what, I want to get to know this character more, and then realize that you're the same way, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, like one of my guests was on recently, and they were talking about the fact that they wrote one of the characters, and I asked them, "Do you like your character?" He's like, "Yeah, except for one," and I'm like, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah, I can't stand this character that I've written. We would not get along if we met in real life. We wouldn't." And he's like, "I have to have them in my story, but I just don't like this character."
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I said, because sometimes even the characters we love to hate as a character, there's still something about them that we feel like we connect with. And he's like, yeah, in my story, the person that I don't like saved a cat, right? Like, that was like in danger, and they had this moment of humanity where they did something nice and saved a cat. And now it's like, oh, now I got to like them because they did something that's nice, but I don't like them, right? And they're like,
Right.
I'm wrestling with this character, right? So I think that's the layers that you're not everyone's all bad, not everyone's all good. We all have these different parts of us that we need to bring out in our characters, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it becomes a little bit too predictable.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love cliffhangers. I love the unpredictability, so I like to write that way. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, well, there's that John Wick movie, and notorious for, he had a little beagle dog, and in the movie somebody kills his dog, and that was it. That was the moment, turning point. It's like,
Right.
oh, you didn't touch his dog, did you? It's like, yeah. You're like, oh no.
No, right.
He loved that dog, right? And so, right, like the whole movie was not about a dog, but just the fact in that moment that something happened, and we were all like, "Get him! Forgetting the dog." Right? We're just like,
Right.
anyway. There's that moment that turns everybody's opinion and turns the tide of a story and a character. So I love watching people do that as authors and writers. You're like, oh, now I'm with you on this. You wrote it, but as a reader, I'm with you in this
With you.
story. I've signed on. I'm with you on this. Let's go get them, right?
Exactly.
Because you wrote them that way. I like that. It's cool. All right, so you've got multiple books. We got lots of things people can come and support you with. Again, I love the story behind To Bring You Joy. That's really good. So let's talk about the new one. Let's celebrate the new books. That's why we're here. We're here to promote and get people to fall in love with what you're doing. Tell us more about your latest release and what's in it for a reader. Well, let's get going on this. I like this.
Definitely, definitely. Well, it's called Myron, the Prophecy of the Four, and it is book one in what I'm calling the Myron Journey series. And it's I can give you the simple synopsis of what it is, but it truly does follow the kind of like Narnia, Lord of the Rings, like that type of feel. Percy Jackson, that type of feel of like the hero's journey, but it is not specifically again like the good versus evil hero type thing. I'm showcasing like characters that I feel like will resonate with the readers. So it does follow a girl named Emma, who is kind of like your average, right? Nothing stands. I like to call them the normally forgotten, and that's a lot of my characters kind of like fall into that. Like they're not like the super popular, super like like rememberable characters, but they're also not like the like like the bottom of the barrel type thing. They're like your like
Yeah.
simplistic character, and my batteries run down, but
Yeah.
Emma is kind of like that character, and you kind of get to know her a little bit, and then her parents tell her this very cryptic story about a place called Myron, and she doesn't think anything of it until one day her parents disappear. No notice, no anything. The only thing she's left with is a necklace, and that's kind of how everything starts off. And she is thrust into this journey to this place called Myron, with her cousins, and they learn of a prophecy that they're supposed to fulfill, and they learn the story behind it, in which you get to learn some new characters, and it almost feels like two books in one because you get to this story, and you're like, oh, this is all about Emma and her crew and everything like that getting to Myron, and all of a sudden it's like, well, let's tell you the backstory behind it, and it's a whole section of just like new characters and finding like new battles and everything like that. So you get kind of brought up with these characters about what's happening in Myron and how they're going to be able to fulfill this prophecy. And so I can't tell you a whole lot of stuff with it. There's a lot of details that go into it, but you get to kind of journey with several characters as they struggle with faith and calling and fear and self-worth and some of the things that we struggle with on a daily basis. One of the things that I put in my book is that this is not a merely a fantasy novel. This is a reality one because it is dealing with stuff that is truly something that we deal with on a daily basis. And the idea behind this is going to sound so simplistic, but when we were living in Virginia Beach several years ago, I was there's a place we could kayak, and we would go out into the woods and kayak, and it was this beautiful, beautiful lake. And towards the end of the lake, there's this huge mansion of like a house like that sat there. And I remember sitting in the kayak in the water and just looking at this mansion. And for some reason, I was like, I can just imagine like walking through the woods and coming across this magical place, this huge mansion, and thinking like, where does this lead? And I just started truly thinking about those characters to coming across this place and finding this magical world called Myron, and that's where it kind of was birthed. And then I was like, you know what, I got to start writing it down. But it was birthed on this lake in this kayak, looking at this like huge house and thinking, okay, I can imagine as a reader like wanting to dive deep into where this is going to lead. So that's where all my characters started coming up with, like Emma and everything like that. I was just imagining like what if they found this place? Like, what would their journey be like? And yeah, that's what
Interesting.
started. Yeah.
Wow. That'd be almost it could be cool to kind of do a Google image search and try to map it out and find that location again, just to see that building and kind of
Yeah.
go, there it is. That's the place, right?
That's what
That's
started
much
it.
where it sparked. Yeah.
Someone owns
I
it.
like
Is
that.
like, wait a minute, that's my.
Wait, yeah. Why are you showing my house, man? Yeah. Okay. What surprised you in the writing of the book? As we did with like the scenes, the characters, the location, the story. Were you surprised at anything that kind of happened during the writing process? Not to
Everything.
give anything away, but everything surprised you,
Everything,
right?
because I
Okay.
write without having an end in mind. Like I have the
Oh,
beginning and I have the characters,
okay.
so as I'm writing it's almost like I'm reading the book, and I'm like, oh wow, like I didn't expect this to happen. I was like, oh man, like I get excited as I'm writing because it's like I'm reading it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I always tell people when I know the ending, that's when the book's ending. Like that's when it's always what happens when I know the ending. That's when the book's ending. So everything surprised me from like some of the discoveries that the characters made, some of the relationships that were built, some of the struggles that they had, even some of the stuff in the battles that were being fought. Like it was all surprising, and I love that part about writing, and not like I when I sit down to write, that's when my brain turns on to like, okay, let's let me jump into this story now, and just start creating and understanding how this is going to work. Because I'm thinking as a reader, right? Not as a writer necessarily. I'm thinking as a reader, and so I want to approach it that way. And yeah, so it's all surprising. It really is.
Well, do your characters also kind of help you craft the story? Like, do you have conversations with your characters
I
and
do.
they kind of take you in different directions you might not have thought to go on your own?
I do. I have very
Yeah.
frequent conversations. Sometimes even just daydreams about like them, almost like as if they're imaginary friends, right? Like
Yeah.
you become
Yeah.
friends with your characters, and you kind of like get frustrated at them at some points. At times, it's like, why are you making this decision? I know I know I'm, I'm kind of controlling this, but I'm like, man, like you're gonna make this decision, and it's probably not a good decision, but you're gonna make it anyway. So I think that's part of the journey as well as a writer is not just writing, but like experiencing it with your characters,
Yeah.
and it brings the book alive for myself. And again, if it brings it alive for me, I'm hoping that that translates in the writing to my readers, that it brings it alive for them as well.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot of character, and probably a lot more talking to myself than than someone would probably
Right.
find sane sometimes. Like, who's he talking to?
Yeah, it's okay because you're writing a book.
Right.
Had
And
you
there's the
not been
excuse.
writing a book,
I'm
Right.
just writing a book.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
I'm not really talking
we're
about
fine. Yeah. Yeah, he's good. He's good. As far as the target age group for the book, who do you have kind of in mind, just for the readers so they know, because they want to share it with their friends and family as well? Do you kind of have an age range for your new release?
I would say it's targeted for like I would say 12 and up.
Oh, good. Wow.
And I say it because it's considered like more of a YA fantasy aspect as far as the genre. So I've had teenagers read it and be like, "This is awesome. This is fascinating. This is great." But I like to sneakily put in a lot of deep themes and a lot of deep things that if you're an adult and like you're gonna catch them,
Yeah.
like the inherent like goodness of God is in there, right? And there's a question of that, and it's a battle of like there truly is in this book the question of like, well, if God is so good, like why do these things happen type thing. And it doesn't outright say it, but it's in there to where you're just like, wow, I can see that that's what that character is struggling with. And even maybe even having that conversation possibly with that being, in however it is put in there, and try not to spoil it. But
Yeah.
I like to put in themes in there that again people can relate to and be like, you know what, I would struggle with this, or I would like be empowered by this, or so adults are gonna find this, and the majority of who I've had read it have been adults, and be like, this has been great. It's not heavy, but it is very like subtly there. It's like, wow, this is something I can relate to. So if
Yeah.
you're an adult, you're gonna love it. If you're a kid, you're gonna love it. I tried to make sure that there was something for everybody in there.
So is it an opportunity for you to go back and revisit your connections with youth and young people when you were a youth leader
I
by writing this book?
Yes, and I think that one of the reasons why I'm very comfortable in putting a lot of those heavy themes in there is because as a youth director,
Yeah.
I realized that kids can handle a lot more than we give them credit for, and can understand and want to discourse about a lot more. Well, it's not taking away from their childhood, but let's say like wow, I can actually have a conversation, or they can actually they have questions and want to talk about them. And as the world gets more advanced, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming from them from social media and from TV and from school and from everything like that, they're getting stuff already. So why not introduce the conversations with them, and having them get some clarity on different things in a way that's also like healthily entertaining, and can kind of like take you to a different place. And a lot of times it is easier for us to have those conversations in a fantasy world, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Like
Yeah.
to
Right.
take us out of it and be like, oh well, it's not actually happening to us. I'm going into this world. Wait, I can actually relate. I can actually see
Yeah.
this. I can
Yeah.
actually like have these conversations. And so I do feel like my work with youth has kind of like spurred on the fact that they can handle some of these deeper themes, and understand them, even if it's not like fully hitting, like they've experienced it. It's something they can talk with their parents, or talk with family members or something like that, and kind of get those conversations started.
All right. So for the new release, talk to the reader, your love letter. They're about to purchase it. They bought the book. They're sharing it with somebody. But from an author to a reader, just if I could get out of the way for a moment and you can talk to them directly, just your heart, your love letter, beyond what we've already talked about, as they go to purchase the book, what is your message to them? So we want to make sure that's nice and clear.
Yeah, definitely. I wrote this for you to experience a journey, right? And this is not just for experience a story. I really wanted you to journey through this adventure with these characters. So I want you to picture yourself with them along the path that they travel, in the battles that they're in the relationships that they form. I want you to experience the journey, and not to just experience it, but I want you to leave with saying, you know what, I can understand myself a little bit better now. I can understand the people around me a little bit better now, and I can truly say that, like, while life isn't perfect, like life's good, right? And so I want you. I wrote this for you to experience life in a whole different perspective. So I hope you enjoy it. I really do, and I hope you're ready for book 2 and book 3 as they come out, because it's gonna be a wild and amazing journey.
Ori, where do we go to stay in touch with you, follow the journey of your writing, stay up to date on what's next for you? Where do you want to send people? And I got one more question to kind of end off, but where do you want to send us?
Definitely on Facebook and Instagram, especially. I'm on there the most, but Myron Journey, if you put that in, you will pull up my Facebook, you pull up my Instagram on that. Anything, you can find me under my personal social media stuff at REPM516, which is RepM516. And then, hey, I'm always up to any emails, any conversations whatsoever. So that same moniker, REPM516 at gmail.com. I'm always up for conversations, and even scheduling Zoom calls or whatever it might be to talk about the books, but also just the journey and the storytelling in general. So, yeah.
Excellent. So the show is Living the Next Chapter. You've already kind of alluded to this, which is exciting. You have more books coming in the series. Do Do you have timelines for us as readers? When can we expect? Because we're excited. We're not trying to put pressure on you. We're just super excited. Do you have ideas of when we can expect what's coming down the road?
I am working hard to get the second book done by the end of the year.
Okay.
And it's proven to be the first book. If you thought when you read the first book, if you haven't read it yet, if you thought the first book was like a wild ride, the second one is going to blow your mind because it's already blowing mine. Just that the first like part of it, the first like 1/3 of it, you're gonna be like, what am I? Wow, I did not expect that.
Yeah.
There's a big twist in it. So
Okay.
yes, I'm hoping by the end of the year for book 2, and then we'll see what book 3 happens. But like I said, I don't know the ending of book 2 yet, so we'll see how that journey goes.
It's a very unique way to write a book. Ori, I love it. I love it. That fact you're finding out when we do. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes a great read, I think, for us as readers as well. So, and exciting. So, the other part of the reason I ask about what's coming up next is I'm selfish. I want more time with you. That's all. I want you to come back, right? So we can celebrate, 2, 3,
Definitely.
on and on and on. Just keep coming back. We want to celebrate you as an author and bring more people to you, and just love talking to you and having you on the show.
I will be back. I will be back for sure. And when I come back, I'm gonna be like, listen, I was not expecting this to happen, but here's what happened in this book.
There you go. Sweet. I love it. Everyone, all information for Auri in the show notes as always. Links to everything. I hope that as you read his amazing books, that you would agree that they bring you joy. See what I did there?
Like that.
Yeah. And you will fall in love with a great author who writes with a great heart for people, and especially for young people as well. I think that's an untapped, unserved community as authors. We tend to write to adults or children and that middle space. There's a big gap there. And I'm glad you're stepping in there, Auri, and writing to them as well. So kudos to you, and continue writing, continue sharing, and come back, please, because I'd love to have you back again.
Will do. I'll be back for the next chapter.
There you go. I love it. Hey, you got the name in there. That's good. Awesome. Everyone, all the information as always in the show notes. Please support our amazing authors when, not if, when you buy any of Auri's books. Buy them all. That makes it easy. Leave a great review for each one. Tell people why you love it. Go beyond great author, great book. That's nice. We appreciate that. But give some detail about why you love the story, why you love the characters, why you love the author. Something that makes other people read that. You read your words and go, oh, this sounds like a book I would read. So your words will really help our authors to sell more books. It's super important. So leave a great review, support our authors, and buy them all. Just buy them all. There's a bunch. You'll love them all. Use your own little library in your house with all these amazing books. Yeah, right? You're okay with that? Okay. All right. Thank you, Auri. Thank you so much for being on the show. Love having you here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this and everything that you guys do.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there. As well, we're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.